Hi everyone and welcome to For Your Junk Journal. I'm Deanna and today we are going to put together these little mini books. Now I am working with the Seasonal Bloom mini book collection, and this one you can actually find on my Etsy store. If another one of my listings has sent you over here and these are different, that's fine. They all go together the same exact way. Now if you're here and you don't have any mini books to work with, I do have a freebie for you guys. So I got these images off of the Library of Congress. These are public domain images that I've cleaned up and colorized. So it is for Alice's Adventure in Wonderland. Now this book is from 1905 and it is public domain. I got it off the Library of Congress and I will link everything down below for you guys. But you can see there, if you're not too familiar with the Library of Congress, they have some amazing images for your junk journals that you guys can utilize. So I highly suggest you guys check them out. It's kind of hard to see the print on there. There we go. So this one is a book from, I believe it's 1905, Lewis Carroll and J.C. Gurham. But I will put everything down below, like I said, just to make sure that I'm correct on that. So a few things before we get started on putting together these books. The bare minimum you're going to need, of course, is your printer paper and a printer. Now I printed the book covers. This is on 48 pound, 180 GSM double-sided matte photo paper. And then on the actual book pages, I printed this on 32 pound, 120 GSM double-sided matte photo paper. So that's what I printed mine on. You will need something to cut with and glue as a bare minimum. Today I'll be using the Fabri-Tac and the art glitter glue. And if you guys are interested in any of this stuff, I will link it down below. If I kind of go too fast, I apologize. Now, things that you may also benefit from is something like a bone folder, some kind of tool to score with. You can see here, I put lines, scoring lines that you guys can score prior to making your cuts. So if you are someone that likes to score, these are really easy to fold, so it's not really necessary, but if you choose to, you put something soft underneath, score it, or use your scoreboard. A few other things that you guys might be interested in is some kind of like ribbon, twine, embroidery, floss of some kind. If you guys want to put eyelets in it, you may want your tools to put together the eyelets. And what am I missing? Some ink. Maybe some charms if you want to. Some little charms I did there. Little eyelet, some ribbon, some beads. Yeah. So, okay. I think that is it. So let's go ahead and get started with getting these cut out. I will ink what I can and then we will get started. Okay, so I'm currently working on the Spring Bloom and Botanical section of this kit. And I've gone through, I've inked everything up. I kind of showed you guys how I folded this while I was inking, just so I can get ink where I wanted them. But I'll kind of run over it again. You should be able to fold this in half. So let me show you. So here's the front of it. And then fold it over. Score it, use your bone folder or something to push it down, and then I kind of just bend the book just a little bit because I didn't score the inside. I only score the actual book spine, and then I went ahead and inked. So these ones are also inked, and this will be the order. This will be the front of the book, and then this will be the back of the book. So I'm gonna go ahead. These are super easy to fold. I'm making a mess here. I think it's time for a new ink blender top because it's falling apart. Okay, so you have your image here, and I know some people are very picky on their peaks and valleys or whatever you call it for your score lines. I'm not picky. I don't mind because the book is going to be moving and opening, and I feel like it just provides a little bit more flexibility when you go both ways, so I don't think it really matters for me anyways. So all right, So we have our first one, and you can fold whatever direction. I'm actually going to fold this way. So take it, and you're going to fold it in half. I didn't score mine, but if you did, it may make it easier for you. So I just want to make sure everything lines up. This is kind of the part where you want to, I'm not much of a tedious person or obsess over much, but this is definitely where you want to be careful with your edge. Can you guys see? Let me see if I zoom in. Okay, so find your edge, and you're just going to fold it straight in half. So you want to make sure your edge looks good. Give it one more fold. All right, first one, and then you can kind of repeat this process. So I have my two edges, and I'm just going to fold it over. And like I said, just try to do your best to make sure everything lines up, and it depends on your cuts and everything else. I don't know if it's ever going to be perfect, so don't stress on it. If it's not perfect, just do your best. That's all that matters. This should be a fun process. So, and then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to do that one more time. And I do that, I try to work on stacking a little bit, only because as you fold, you'll notice your paper gets higher and it can be a little bit harder to fold. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this side over as well, trying to make sure everything lines up. So we have our first 4 sections, right? Now I'm going to take the next piece here, and I'm going to fold it up. Then I open it up, and I'm going to take that same side, so I just folded this side and fold it in. Now if you're a peak and valley person where you like your peaks and valleys to be a specific way, this is probably not the fold for you. But if not, if you don't worry about it. And then I just kind of bring up the center so it stays lined up, and fold. And then I will repeat on the other side. So this is the halfway mark right here. And I'm going to take this flap, fold it over, okay, and then this is your center here, right here where it folds, and you're just going to fold into that, and I bring it up just to make sure it lines up and fold it in. So what you're going to want is it to look like this. So you have your blank ends, because it's not a double-sided print, and just like that. Now what you'll glue is this piece, and this piece will be glued together to create your little book pages, and then the outsides will glue either to the book cover or to the next set of pages. So first one done, and now I'm just going to rinse and repeat. Okay, so I have everything inked and ready to go, and like I said before, I've designed this to have the same inside book cover on the front and back, but it doesn't have to be that way. Just know that there will be a repeating image if you move it within the order. So I have mine set up, and I'm going to go ahead and glue. So you're going to glue these two together, these two together, and then these two together. The ones that you see on the outside for now are not going to have any glue. Now you can use whatever kind of glue you want. Just know that some glues do cause the paper to wrinkle. I'm using art glitter glue, and then I also use the Fabri-Tac. So, but for this portion, I'm just going to use the art glitter glue. So you have your, the back side here, no color to it. It's a blank page, and you're not gluing that. You're just gluing the next piece. And once you have it folded over, glue the next one. and then the third one. So I started with the back of the book. So this is the back cover. And just like that. And I like to keep it open and let it dry a little bit, just so the pages don't stick together. So I'll leave that just like, is that shown? Yeah, just like that. And then we repeat. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and move on to our cover. Now I will say there's several ways to use this. You can use it for, you know, you can add in dangles, you can add in ties. I know people like to make these also for like little Christmas trees. So if you're gonna make it for a Christmas tree, you may want to go ahead and add in some string now. You can add that in, let me just show you. So between the two book covers, you can glue it in right here, and it'll add just a little spot so you can actually hang your book if you wanted to. The other thing is depending on how you want to tie your book. So this one, I glued it between the book pages and the cover. So I glued it between the book pages and the cover right there. But if you just wanted a single tie coming out the back side that you could wrap around, now would be a good time to add that in, and you would add it in just right here as you're gluing. So just remember, if you do it that way, you know, with paper, as you fold stuff, it tends to push out. So you see there, it will make it a little longer. So just plan ahead if you plan on adding a tie that wraps around there, because you may need to trim this. You can also put it between your book pages and the cover itself, completely up to you. But we will need to probably trim this after we get it glued down and folded. So now for this, as much as I love the art glitter glue, it doesn't allow me to move the pages very well. And I want to be able to manipulate this a little bit to make sure everything gets as lined up as possible. So for this one, I'm just going to use the Fabri-Tac. Now make sure you get your corners and edges really good. You can also add a little bit of this to the corners if you wanted to. Okay. So you'll see here, for the most part, it's lined up right now. But once I get these folded, it's going to not line up anymore, and you'll need to trim that off. So I'm just folding it over at the spine. And I like to fold it while it's still wet so it doesn't cause the paper to tear. So just like that. All right. So as you can see, it's folded. And I'm going to go ahead and trim the white off that shows. And you may be lucky enough to where it didn't poke through, but in my experience, I would say most of the time it does show some white on the other side. Perfect. Now I'm going to go ahead and add an eyelet in here. You don't have to do that, but I'm just going to add it real quick. Now, if you add eyelets in, make sure, well, one, you should probably set up better than I did, but two, make sure not to get too close to the edge there, yet enough space so if you put a jump hoop in there that it actually will fit. just like that, and then add a loop in. Okay, so now that is in and ready to go, you should probably use your pliers. I just didn't want to spend the time looking for them. They're across the room. So now this one's ready, and I feel like these have probably set up enough to start working with. So the most important thing here is to make sure that all your images are going the right direction. So I'm going to just pre-set these up. So this will go up along here. This is that back page I was talking about. And then this one will go this way. So I'm going to glue all 3 of these pages together. So images are right side up and images are right side up. I just kind of leave it off to the side so I can see what's going on, because otherwise I'll second guess myself 100 times. So, and you can see I kind of got it off a little bit here. It'll still work, but you want to try to avoid doing that right there. But I'll show you guys what it looks like if you do get it off a little bit. So I'm just gluing the back page on to the next page. And it's not that one, it's this one. So images are the correct side. I butt them up together, and then I try to move it around. You got to kind of work fast if you're working with the art glitter glue, and make sure everything is lined up. Beautimous. Okay. Now I'm going to move on to my next page. Once again, I'll make sure all my images are lined up, and I will add glue. So this is what you have here, like this. And this will go into here like this. And then that will be your book. So I'm going to add a tie closure in. Grab that. So I kind of just line up about where the center is. Make sure you go in far enough to where you got enough security to keep that. And I just like to fold it over and make sure it matches. If not, you can use a little tool, kind of move it over, or your fingers. Okay, so that part is done. Now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to glue one side in at a time. So I'm going to start with my back page. Make sure that everything is the right direction. So top of my book, bottom of my book, top of my book, bottom of my book. And then I just rest it on there. Doing it from the side like this kind of gives you an idea on spacing. So there's not much space at the front of the book and just a little bit on the back of the book. And you should be able to close it. It looks like I need to move it just a little bit. So that's the first one. Onto the second. And if you guys are doing this, you may want to use something that moves a little bit easier. This art glitter glue doesn't move very well once it touches down. It likes to stay where it's at. So now don't glue the spine, you're just moving on to the front page here. And then I flip it towards me so I can see. and I try to make it match up to what the other side was. So that is it, just like that. You can go ahead and decorate this. I would recommend putting a second jump loop hoop on there, just so it, when you have your dangles on there, it moves better. But we should be able to. Flip through now. Make sure none of your pages are stuck together. And that is it. Tie this up. And you got yourself a little mini book. So if you guys have any questions or anything like that, just let me know down in the comments. I will get back to you. I promise you I read every single comment there is. And I hope you guys have an amazing day and take care. Bye.